tried to get out, and the time was now.
Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sitting Down with Standups. I am your co-host, Justin Sakarica, still sporting the Iron Sheik mustache. Behind the scenes, we have the Bean behind the scene, Daryl Bean, a.k.a. White Daryl. And over here to my left is the very lovely Elena Gonzalez. Hello. Elena, what is going on?
Hello, hello. I am loving how that shirt really brings out your mustache.
It really does, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It highlights the curls, and it really kind of elevates the new facial fuzz.
Yeah.
I've got going on here.
A while back, Matt Kahn did your show at Bearded Lamb, and I was lucky enough to be in attendance, and we were kind of standing in the back, and we were debating what his reference to you was going to be, whether it was going to be old-timey wrestler, or that's exactly what we went with. But the other one, we just couldn't come up with the name for it, but kind of like the generic strong man that would, like hit the thing and make the bell ding, and we're like, that's a little too
yeah,
wordy,
like they would wear those like onesies, and they would like lift up those weights that had like 50 pounds on them, and they were like overly big. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you've got a range.
I've got a range. Yeah. Again, I always hear the Iron Sheik from wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not as crazy as he is.
Well,
I mean, I'm a little bit more calm with it. Have you ever read any of his tweets before?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that is one entertaining man.
Indeed.
Yeah. He is quite the character for sure. But speaking of entertaining,
I love this segue.
Yeah, this is.
I was working on my own segue. Okay, so we've got, speaking of entertaining, and let's see where this one goes. Were you was that your thing when you were growing up, was wrestling?
It was part of it. Yes, it was definitely part of it. Yes.
Okay. I was a huge game show nerd when I was a kid.
Really? You love game shows?
Yeah,
see, it works perfectly. Really? You love game shows? Do tell more, please.
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like everybody as a kid has their game show moment is usually, I was homesick from school, and I watched Price is Right, or whatever. But for some reason, my family was game shows 24/7.
Really?
Like, my grandmother was really into game shows. We were very much a crossword puzzle family, like just games kind of all over. And growing up, USA used to air some older shows. And I did not realize that a lot of the stuff I was watching actually had already happened. So I grew up thinking that the Monkees were an 80s band, that Bullwinkle was a cartoon right now with Sherman and Peabody. Like, all of these retro things were my childhood, and game shows really played a big part of that. So I mentioned on the last show that I'm working with One Night Stands, and we're kind of bringing some of that back.
That's so cool. Like, that is such an exciting idea. I mean, like, where did you get the idea for that?
Well, actually, being behind the scenes is part of my origin story.
Oh, really?
In this, yeah, we were out at a restaurant and kind of talking about passions and ideas and all this stuff, and I was like, I love game shows, and now we're doing comedy shows, and I see all this stuff, and I started down the road of, but that would be hard, and that would be a lot of work, and I entirely credit Daryl with going, yeah, but so what? Just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely do it. And it took me 5 years, but but yeah, when I think back on it, it's that. And I just think our next one coming up is Match Game, May 19th. So get your tickets now, onenightstandscomedyclub.com. But it's such a perfect... Do you remember the game?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, again, and like you're saying, it's a perfect meshing of the two.
Right.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes, because it gives comedians a chance to be funny in the panelist area, and it gives us a chance to give away prizes and be silly, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
What is your top game show moment for you? Because I've got one for me.
Oh, I want to hear yours first.
Okay, so I peaked at a very, very young age when it came to game shows. My family still talks about this to this day.
Okay.
I was a very young boy. Like, I was probably like 6 or 7 years old. And I got the final answer on Jeopardy right.
Oh, that's exciting.
And it was, the final question was, and now this was obviously back in the early 90s,
Right.
it was who was the only actor to appear on the cover of TV Guide 2 consecutive weeks in a row. And it was Michael Landon. I don't know how I knew that. I remember I was playing with my turtle action figures on the ground, and I heard it, and I was like, Michael Landon? And my parents were like, what the fuck? Like, that might be right.
Wow.
And I got the answer right, and like, he is so smart, he's gonna be great. Yeah, it didn't turn out that way. But
wow.
it just, yeah.
Was it like a Little House on the Prairie and then Highway to Heaven?
It had
kind
to
of
be.
Like back to
It
back
had
kind
to
of
be.
thing?
Yeah, maybe I was bored one day reading TV Guide as a child for some reason, but that's like, and like since that day, I'm always like, wow, like I have never topped that. I have never topped it before.
That's fantastic. So I, career-wise, I've been really involved with bar trivia. I played it, I host it, I ran the company for a couple of years. I've gone the gamut. So I've got a lot of like those things, but the one that really sticks out in my head around the same age, 8 or 9, there was a public access show that my cousins and I would watch, and it was a call-in game show. And so we called into this public access game show, and we got through. And if you'd ever called into the radio or something, you know how exciting that is. You're like, ah!
Yeah, you like freeze up. Yeah.
And the question, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it basically was, what is the song in the Looney Tunes, like, kill the wabbit, like, basically, what's the name of that song? And I completely froze, and I laughed, and I hung up the phone. Like, I was like, I don't know. And so that was my big thing. And now, like I said, I can't remember the phrasing of the question, but it's Deflator Mouse, and I will never. That will never.
Oh, it's Deflator Mouse?
It's a Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah, because I don't.
Then I have the wrong one.
Okay.
Because is Deflator Mouse like a thing?
It's a thing. I don't know.
Deflator Mouse was a character on The Tick.
Well, also true.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's true. But yeah, there's Deflator Mouse, which is an opera, but I don't think it's part of the Ring Cycle. And the Ride of the Valkyries is from the Ring Cycle by Wagner.
Okay, so then I'm remembering. So Deflator Mouse is like burned into my brain. So I wonder if there's any Looney Tunes connection, or if I was.
There's got to be. There's like thousands of Looney Tunes episodes out there. It's
yeah.
Just,
So if it was, I'm remembering the wrong Looney Tunes,
Yeah, that's
or
actually by Strauss. So there you go.
what? Deflator Mouse.
Deflator Mouse is by Strauss.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, very fancy.
Very fancy.
But,
so that's going to be my rabbit hole after this episode, is figuring out what that question
going
was.
down, yeah. Deflator Mouse. That's such a fun
Yeah,
one.
it's
Deflator
just
Mouse.
stuck in my brain
Yeah.
for forever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so May 19th, come on out to One Night Stands and play a game. Have a chance to win some prizes.
It'll be a lot of fun. I'm sorry that I will not be able to make that. I will be deep in the Smoky Mountains that day, but I will be thinking of your game show.
I appreciate it.
Because again, I do think it's quite cool to have like the comedy game show because it's a new thing and there's a good balance between comedy and game shows. Speaking of new balances.
Oh, that was nice.
That was a good one.
That was nice.
That was a good, solid one. We got a guest here today that is rocking some sweet dad shoes over there, some New Balances. This is actually the first time I've had a chance to sit down and have a conversation with this guy, so I am super, super excited about this.
Me too.
Really? Wow.
This is exciting.
We are, I don't want to give away his name yet, but we are both virgins in this sense here, so why don't we get on in here and pop the Ron Rigby cherry. Ron, Come on in here, man.
Oh, if that's not a T-shirt, I don't know what is.
Yes.
Pop the Ron
Rigby cherry. Ron, how the hell you doing, man?
Old cherry, man.
It's an old muddled one that goes into an old fashioned.
How are we gonna use it?
Nice. Nice to see it, man.
Hello.
Yeah, so,
I met you one time a long time ago, and Elena, we just met like quickly at one night stands.
Yeah, like a
months ago.
hello.
We never sat down and talked at
yeah.
all.
So
this should be good.
we know who we are, we just don't know who we are.
Yeah,
you know, like I could see you on the street and avoid you, and you would avoid me, so. Yeah.
Look away.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your game show? What's your game
'cause
show
I'm,
moments?
a whole different generation than you.
Yeah,
Like What's My Line? That's really old. The one where they give away the Bob Barker one, was the one when I was growing up. That was Price is Right. That was the big thing. But in reality, I'm listening to you guys. I didn't watch as much stuff as you guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
You had friends.
Maybe because it was a different time. And I was outside all the time, and maybe you guys were '90s kids, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
80s, 90s, yeah, kind of like in that weird
My
middle
kids were
generation.
born, in the '80s, so
I'm technically 70s, but right on the edge. Yeah.
barely. Yeah, I'm technically '50s too.
Nice.
That sucks. My wife was born in '60, and I'm '59. And I'm like, God damn it! That 1 year makes such a big.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
really-
different decade, and everything.
Yeah, my ex-husband was born in '80 and I was born in '79,
Yeah.
and it came up
Yeah.
more often than I would have thought it
It's
did.
annoying. You're like a '70s person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
People think of me. They think of like Elvis. I'm like, no, I was just born in
Right,
'59.
Exactly. I didn't come out of the womb in bell bottoms.
Right.
Where'd you grow up?
Macomb County.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fraser, Michigan.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's a little
Fancy.
teeny town. 2 square miles.
Uh-huh.
But you know who comes from Fraser, Michigan?
No.
Okay. I graduated from Fraser High in '77.
Okay.
The amazing Jonathan graduated in '76, just before me.
Okay.
Mike Green graduated in '70 or '83 or '4, right around there.
Okay.
Coram Sheik, do you know him?
Yes.
Really?
He was 79, I think. So all four of us were at the same high school. Mike was a little bit younger, but me, Coram, and Jonathan lived on the street right behind me. Him and I were like, very close to each other.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is so crazy. It's kind of like how, are you a big fan of boxing at all?
Yeah.
I want to say like James Toney and the Mayweathers both grew up on the same
Wow.
street somewhere, and they didn't
Yeah.
even know it. Just like for some reason that
That's
street,
crazy.
like
well, same as me and Jonathan. He was literally on the street. Like my house he was directly behind me and over maybe 3 houses, But our street was so big, you never left your street. There were 50 kids on my street, and so we were at the same bus stop together, but I never knew him. I used to watch him in talent shows doing his magic and stuff, but I never really. And then I worked with him at Ridley's finally before he died, like maybe 4 years ago, something like that.
Wait, the entirety. So from '78 until.
I met him in 2018 or 19 at Ridley's.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
How weird is that?
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I would say? That's amazing.
there you go. She's
Yeah.
taking
Is
the
that your
puns here.
tagline?
Yes. Yes.
He's rubbing off on me.
Yeah, in the worst way possible. In the worst way possible. Oh, but yeah, like it is so crazy how you can live so close to somebody.
Yeah.
And I actually, if you weren't doing those backyard pop-up shows, I would have no idea that you live not even a mile away.
Right.
And the same with Dan Turco. Just we're all so close, but like I don't think I've ever ran into you outside of this
No.
environment.
Yeah.
And
it's-
there's comedy environments like that. Like you see people all the time, but you don't always sit down and have a conversation
Exactly.
with them. You might be even on a show with them at a thing, but they're over there and you're over here. You gotta be quiet. It's comedy, so
Yeah.
you don't
Exactly.
talk, but you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I know you. But that's really about it until you sit down and talk. Because rarely do you talk with comedians.
Yeah.
Because you're in a comedy club where you're not supposed to be fucking
Yeah.
talking.
Exactly.
So.
And that's I met a newer comedian for the first time last night. He came out to a show that I was on, and we had a chance to talk after the show in kind of the wind down. And I said, so what's your story? What's your 30 seconds? Like, give me your bullets. And he's like, I don't know what you mean. And I said, well, if I had seen your set, I would at least know, like, okay, you're married,
Yeah, a
you
little
got
about-
kids, you
Yeah.
got dogs, like, and you do realize, like, in that moment, I realized like how much you kind of pick up
Yeah.
from people because
Yeah.
you're not having those conversations, but you feel like you know
Right,
them
that
because
is
you
right.
hear.
Yeah, even though you don't meet him, you're like, I know a little bit about her. I
Yeah.
know where she's from. I know she's got a kid. I know
Yep.
she's got this or that. Yeah, yeah, but you've never really sat down. So that is why when we did meet, it's just like you said we've never really met. I felt like we have, but maybe we haven't.
Right.
Just because
Yeah.
I've
Right.
seen you,
Yeah.
a few times at Ridley's. I remember seeing you a couple of times.
And then
so.
once you bring social media into it,
yeah.
it makes it
Yeah.
even
Now you're talking to somebody
weirder.
you've never
Yeah.
really
Right,
met. You know?
right.
So this is so crazy, okay? Because you had mentioned that we briefly met before, and we met at Marco Gonzalez's memorial. And this is so crazy that I remember this. And if you don't believe me, I'm sure there's picture proof. I was wearing the same shirt there that I was wearing earlier, that blue
Really?
shirt. Isn't that
Wow.
fucking weird?
That is
I-
weird.
that just clicked to me.
Wow.
Wow, that like my brain could be doing so many other things right now, but it's remembering what I wore.
That's crazy because I couldn't tell you what car I had then.
Yeah,
let
right.
alone-
like, all of a
Right.
sudden it just clicked, and I don't know why I'm wasting my
Wow.
brain power on such an insignificant detail. But yeah, it's
I
crazy.
remember it was a hot day.
It was a hot
I
day,
remember
yeah.
that.
It was a very hot day,
A
yes.
horrible day, but I mean, it was hot weather-wise. It was like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
Right.
But we are keeping the show going, Marco. Here,
Yeah.
my friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
He was
So,
a great guy.
yeah. You know what I was thinking? We need to get like a milk carton with Steve Davini's face on there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was part of this for a while, and then he
Put him on a stick.
Yeah, put him on a stick. So, yeah. Now you had mentioned that you had been on this podcast before in the older iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Now was that at Broken Knuckle Studio out?
Both the one in Pontiac I did, and then the one out wherever the first one was,
Clarkston-y.
right next to a little restaurant.
Oh, was that in Redford?
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Redford.
Oh,
yeah. So,
Cave.
yeah, it keeps getting more and
Yeah.
more. And now you're in a basement in Westland. Yeah.
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 Just a nice.
None of it matters because this is really the area that you deal with,
Exactly,
The
yeah,
building
yeah.
you're in. That place in Pine, I remember being in the elevator going, I may not get out of this thing.
Oh,
It clicks like, I'm like, uh-oh, I should have taken the stairs.
the amount of times that I would show up and I would get a message from Dave like, "Hey, sorry, elevator's out."
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, "Okay, here we go, 6 flights." And they were big flights.
Wasn't the door locked on that place too? They had to
Yeah.
open it for you or
Jeez,
something
yeah.
like that. It was like you're standing out there in the cold. You're like, what do I do now?
Yep.
I got to call somebody.
Yep, and sometimes you'd have to like get the guy in the convenience store next door to it was
Fun.
good times.
Didn't they go to like Down Hall Road by the Shark Club
Yes,
over there? At
it was
some
right
time?
next door to the Shark Club.
Was it?
Yeah.
I never went there though. I never went.
It was pretty nice.
Was it?
I mean, it was a hike, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was relatively nice there. I remember the orange and yellow like foam on the walls. It like always made me think
yeah.
of like tangerines and oranges, and
Yeah.
because that's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
My brain goes to these weird spots.
I made them that neon sign that they have with their logo. Did you ever see that? by any
I
chance?
did. Oh, and yeah, we were actually going to bring that up. So you
yeah.
do neon signs,
Yeah.
correct?
I would bet David's got that. Wouldn't you think? I
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
sure
think
he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
would
he
think
does.
he does, yeah.
Wait, you made that? Tell me more.
Well, that's what I do. That's my job is
Okay.
neon signs. Yeah, since about '88, I've been doing that, and it's kind of a family thing. My dad was a neon guy, and my grandfather, and stuff like that. So
How does that? All right, we're taking a turn. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's fascinating. How how does that even work? To just say that your dad's a neon guy. Like I know absolutely nothing about sign creation, and I don't want you to like build specs and
Right.
go through it all, but
I don't know about neon. You see it,
Yeah,
you see it in windows and stuff. You just go, oh, nice, it's just one of those things. But basically, we get 4-foot long sticks of hollow tube glass.
Okay.
And we heat it in the fire and bend it to however we want it to look, and then you add a neon gas or argon gas to it. There's 2 gases, and then it lights up a certain color, and that's kind of how it goes.
are you I actually had a little stint from a hobby perspective of doing some glass blowing, both like
Beads or something?
I was doing real like molten blowing,
Yeah.
but then I did a little bit of torch work with the smaller
Yeah.
bits. So are you doing that by hand, or is it more of like you've got a CAD design and then the machine does the bending? What?
No, it's all done by hand.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the designs can be done on a CAD system. Like let's say you want that logo on your shirt done, it can draw it up for you. But then it's all done by hand, and you actually lay the glass right on the design on the table exactly how you want it to
up.
come out. Yeah, that's how
That's
it's
such
done.
an incredible skill. Like,
it's always been done,
so in
yeah.
like 50 years, like when we have like our version of Greenfield Village,
Yeah.
you know, like you
Yeah.
can go there and be like,
They have a neon shop in Greenfield Village. They do, yeah. And I remember the guy came to my shop from there one time, and we used neon and argon gases. Those are the two gas. And he said to me, "Where do you get your gas?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, my supplier has it." I go, "Where do you get yours?" He goes, "Oh, we get it right out of the ground." And I'm like, "Oh,
Holy shit.
do you?" From the ground.
From the ground, like,
He's like, "Yeah, we've got a system where we pull argon and neon from the earth." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get it from Wensco. It's a little company. Right? They bring it in a bottle to me. You know, it's like from the ground. Are you kidding me?
is that legal?
Jeez, that's like we say, where do you get your power from? Oh, we're pulling it right out of a hole.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Got a
Jesus
hamster
Christ.
underground.
Yeah.
gas farmers. That's
Yeah,
that's
but you know,
insane.
Greenfield Village, man, they're like, you know, they're
Yeah.
scientists over there.
Yeah.
I'm just the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
that makes neon. They're into, you know, doing everything themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Back how it was back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old school stuff. Yeah.
How long does
Tesla stuff.
How long does that take? That process.
It's.
I mean, of course, it depends on the
yeah.
size of the sign and all that
It's
shit.
like a
but-
painting, you know. Some you can do in an hour, some might take 6 weeks or something. So
Okay.
it just depends on how intricate and difficult and big, and you know, the signs that you guys see all the time that say open. You know, they're like a red sign that says open with maybe a blue frame around
Yeah.
it. That might take an hour and a half, something
Okay.
like that. That's
Okay.
not, you know.
What is the most like out there and wild request you've had for a neon sign?
You know, we used to do a lot of stuff for topless bars, so you know,
Oh,
a lot of
yeah,
naked
yeah.
women and stuff like that. And I've done signatures for, like, Barry Sanders. I did his signature one time.
For Barry Sanders himself?
Well, he didn't come into my shop, but the guy's
Oh.
like, "Yeah, this is going to Barry
Oh,
Sanders."
okay.
So I
Nice.
ended up doing it. And, you know, maybe it's in his basement. I have no idea, but just weird shit. One time, actually, it was my dad's shop, but a woman came in and brought a artist with her, and she sat naked on a chair, and the artist drew her, and then they made that into a neon pattern, and then they made her out of neon, and that of a woman. You know? This was
Wow.
before me, but you know, that happened.
She's been immortalized in neon.
Yeah, she's on a wall somewhere.
That's
You know.
fantastic. There's a last time I was in Vegas, they have like a graveyard of sorts of all
Sure.
the old signs, and you know, they've got the huge ones,
Yeah.
you know, that
The
nobody's.
cowboy, you know, who smoked the
exactly.
cigarette, the Marlboro guy, or whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about, you know, once kind of switched over to LED
Yeah.
and just the upkeep and all of that stuff. Have you ever done anything of that scale? Like those big
Yeah.
ones?
Well, the biggest one I ever did was Cobo Arena back in the day.
Wow.
Four letters, COBO.
Uh-huh.
2 times, so one on one wall, one on the other, outside, and they were 10 feet high.
Holy
Wow.
And about, you know, each stroke was about this wide of the letter. So I think each one had 6 rows of neon. So I remember there were 8 O's, COBO 2 times. So 8
Yeah.
O's, 6 rows in each O. And I was just working on these things for like months, you know, and then, you know, when I remember driving down there and seeing them, like, fuck you, I hate that. I don't ever want to see it. I don't want to, you know, just one. I don't like doing like massive. I like
Yeah.
to do a job, get it done, get rid of it, and start something
Yes,
else. Not
yes,
this.
yes.
I'm going to be 3 months on this stupid thing. You know, I hated that.
So you
It's
probably
just a
were cheering
circle,
like
a
crazy when
Oh,
they, yeah,
when it left?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't want to see it again.
just make a big neon middle finger.
Yeah, yeah. It's like cutting your lawn, but you got to cut like a football field. It's like I don't want to do that much
Right.
grass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I love cutting my lawn. I've
Yeah.
got a nice small
Yeah,
lawn.
it's
It's
perfect
great,
size.
yeah.
Right
Just
when
get-
you're about sick of it, you're done. You know,
Exactly,
it's like,
yeah. Get a couple beers, go
Yeah.
outside, and, you know, it's not this massive, you know,
No.
yard. And like when I was younger, I hated to cut grass because my mom's house has a double lot backyard,
Oh, yeah.
and we had dogs, and I'm like, I gotta pick up the dog shit.
Yeah.
I gotta cut the grass.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's a
fucking
big
hate
deal.
this.
Big deal.
But then you come here, like, you know, this isn't so bad, you know. Just gotta watch out for the crazy neighbors when I'm out there doing it and trying, you know.
Did you ever have that lawn, like a double lawn? We used to have we had a corner lot by my house, and we all played football there. It was a big double.
Mm-hmm.
I go by there now. It's not a lot bigger than your basement. I'm like, fucking, this thing used to be huge when we were
Yes.
kids. We would play
Yeah.
full football on that lot. And I'm like, is this it? Did they do something to the rest of it or what? But no, that was it when you were a kid. When you're 6, you
Yeah,
know, a double lawn is
perspective.
huge.
Oh yeah, everything's bigger when you're a
Yeah.
kid. Yeah.
I made the mistake of going to my childhood home and having that shock.
Yeah.
Because I had a huge tree house in the back, and same thing. Like we had all these adventures, and
Yeah.
and then I show up and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, where's this?
We walked from here to there. That was the big
that was
adventure.
it. Uh huh.
Yeah, I played soccer as a kid growing up, and I was awful. I played for like 7 or 8 years, and I only scored 1 goal. And they ended up demolishing.
Were you the goalie?
No, I mean, you know what? I think our goalie probably scored more goals than me. I was just awful, and I was so happy that I scored a goal on this field, and then I drove by there, and now it's a neighborhood. Oh. And I'm like, son of a bitch! Like, this was my legacy.
That's what my goal was.
Yeah. Now it's like, no, you don't matter anymore.
But you still got the Jeopardy answer. So
yeah, I did. Yeah, that will.
They're not getting rid of that show.
Yeah, unlike Michael Landon, it'll live on forever. Oh, wow. I'm getting a little dark here.
I would have said Tom Selleck. That when I heard you say that, that was my answer, just off the top of my head. 2 times on the TV.
Yeah,
guide,
that would have been good.
Now, was it because of the mustache, though? Are you thinking?
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do. You also remind me of a guy who maybe ties damsels onto railroad tracks.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
not
if you
sure.
had
That guy might
top
have
hat.
a
A top hat and the cape,
I
yeah.
think he's got the mustache. Though.
Yeah. Go tie her on the
All
train
that
tracks.
rope,
Yeah, a silent film.
And then someone would come by and go, and it would be off her, just like that.
Yep.
I do work near some train tracks. Maybe I should try this.
Yeah.
Or that cartoon.
Snidely Whiplash was
Yep,
that?
Yes.
that's what I was just gonna say. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't Dastardly? Was it Dirk Dastardly? The guy who had Muttley.
Yeah, I remember the Dastardly character.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember his name. I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he was in Wacky Racers a lot.
Oh, man.
My favorite would have been, now that you would go to the Roadrunner and Coyote. That was one that I liked a lot.
Yeah.
I used to remember thinking, like, man, how can you get hit with that and come back? Because that's an anvil. Those don't fuck around. And when that sends you into the ground, because it hits you so hard, and then the next film you're right back there again with no marks on you or anything, that used to,
That's a tough son of a bitch.
Me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, damn, that's a tough Coyote.
Yeah.
Or Roadrunner, which
I'm glad you took it that way and not the like, oh, I'm invincible kind of way.
Yeah,
it's
like,
much
oh,
safer
Every
to
time
be
they would
pragmatic.
have, like, God, he's done. This
dead.
show's over. You're not coming back from that.
This is the one,
The
yeah.
whole mountain fell on. What the
How do you kill the main character like that?
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be great to have like a Looney Tunes Game of Thrones type thing,
Yeah,
With their,
Comet Game of Thrones would be great.
they're back the very next episode. But you know what would be amazing? Have like the Red Wedding, but add in the cartoon sound effects.
Yeah.
Like boing and like all the crazy noises. I love when people do that on YouTube where they take a relatively tragic video, but they add in the cartoon sound effects. Like they've got that show, My 600-Pound Life. And when people add in the sound effects on there, I lose it.
Well, Batman kind of did it with the pow and the bam stuff, It was like, that always kind of cracked. I'm like, you want me to take this seriously when you're doing that? You're putting pop-up things in the middle of the...
In tights.
I just thought that was a little weird. But,
Zork. Wham.
Yeah, Zowie or whatever.
Yep.
Oh my God, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing to think about. Like how much cartoons are ingrained now, like in our brain.
Are they still big? I mean, are kids?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if your son does he watch?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know that.
Like SpongeBob maybe type thing or what's
he's currently we have entered a Pokemon phase, and so he is transitioned into Pokemon. But prior to there were probably 2 or 3. But there was no routine around it. So he would like we would watch a lot of Disney Junior or whatever. And so he had his favorite cartoons, but it wasn't a religion in the way that cartoons were.
Yeah.
It was like that, that's just what's on TV. Because it was either always on or it was on demand.
You could find it anytime you want.
Exactly.
I just wondered if they went straight from the bottle to like video games or something versus the cartoon.
His is pretty close. So he went from the bottle. He had a stint, and he's now 6, and he is loving video games, and it's
Yeah. So to tear him away from a game to watch a cartoon, I think that they'd be more entertaining over here.
Yeah, because a game is like a cartoon that you can actually play.
Yeah.
You control when you destroy the coyote.
And they've taken that into account. So, like Sonic is a cartoon, and
So the games are also kind of cartoony.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. So with Lego, so in the way that they did like the Lego Movie and Lego Batman, they've done Lego cartoons too.
Yeah.
So There's a pirate show that's all Legos.
Legos made like a big comeback, I think. Because when I was younger, they were kind of big, and then they kind of like fizzled away. Like Legos were stupid. They were dumb little people. And then like maybe the movie came out, and all of a sudden, man, it's like the Lego movie and Legoland and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think what helped them though is when they started doing like sets based off of movies and more like pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
Like not like a generic house or a car. Right. It's like, oh no, we'll do Batman Lego or you know, Mario Lego, which they have, and then people are like, oh, it's cool, I want to build shit, and then you know.
And what I've seen is a lot more. Because we've gone to, my son is also into Legos, and we've gone to a couple different Legoland things and all that. And really, it's 40-year-old guys and their sons, and that's
both
what's
into it?
Because now this guy has got money to buy some of those sets that his mom wouldn't buy him before, and so they sit there and do Legos.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. There was a kid that I grew up with, and his mom was fucking weird. I'm sorry, she was.
I'm sure she's a subscriber.
I'm sure she is, yeah. No, she would, I mean, oh God, I could tell stories about her. I could. But anyway, she would only let her sons build what was on the box for the Legos. They were not allowed to improvise at all. And I remember going over there and being like, okay, this is weird. Like, I want to build a house. Like, no, no.
Religious or something?
She was just fucking weird. She was just fucking weird.
I thought they'd like build dicks and everything.
I have no idea, but no, like she was weird. And there was one. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I've got witnesses. There was another kid I grew up with who she did not get along with his mom. And one day, my buddies and I were walking down the street, and she drove by, and she said hi to me and my buddy Brian. She goes, "Hi Justin, hi Brian, hey Dan, fuck you."
No way.
And we were kids.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, this is insanity. I swear to God.
Did you ever ask like Dan what happened or what he did with them?
Dan's mom and her, they did not get along.
Gotcha.
And she was like, okay, I'm going to see your child and tell him fuck you. It was insane.
Dan's mom was probably fucking...
yeah, probably.
That's probably what it was.
You know, you're funny. You want to be a comedian, Ron. So how, again, I know it's a generic question, but how did you get into comedy?
Like...
He grew up in Fraser.
Yeah.
It's like you were always funny as a kid. But I had like, I mentioned Jonathan, Amazing Jonathan. I had like crippling stage fright. It was like I couldn't even. I remember Jonathan tells this story too, and I didn't hear it till years later. But he said someone asked him, "Why'd you get into comedy?" He said, "Well, I did a school talent show in like 8th grade doing magic, and I fucking bombed." And he goes, "I mean, when I say bombed, I mean bombed." And I was there. I watched it. And I was getting red and sweating in the audience watching him bomb. Yeah, and I didn't even know him. But it didn't matter. It was like I was like, could you imagine being up there? But he was cool about it. He was laughing and just dealing with it. And he goes, from that night on, I said, I got to do something else. I can't just do magic. So that's when he got into comedy or whatever. But back to my point, I couldn't get near a stage, you know? And then all of a sudden, it's like the weirdest thing. Around age 49 or 50-ish, I'm thinking like, for some reason, I just thought, I felt in my being that went away.
Wow.
It's really weird. I can almost remember the day it happened. I went, I don't feel like I would be afraid to go on stage anymore. So I happened to, it's so how stuff happens. Like, I got a newspaper. This was back when you still got the newspaper. And out of it falls a flyer for Macomb College. Okay. Just a flyer. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm not going to fucking college. I was 48 years old or whatever. But I open it up. To page, it goes, I open it up, it says, Stand-Up Comedy 101, right where I open it. Just like, you know, like a weird, you know. And so I put it away, I put it like in my bedroom on the thing, I didn't do a thing, you know. 6 months later, I'd look at it, you know. Then I started driving by Macomb College, like just to see how I felt when I drove in the parking lot, you know, type of thing, if I was nervous or not, you know. And then I eventually signed up for the class, and I remember going to the class and there's 4 people in it, you know. And it's in this auditorium-style class where, you know, a professor would talk up on stage or whatever, and that's the room they gave him. And he goes, the first thing we're going to do is everyone's going to go on stage today. And I'm just like, oh, no, you know, no. And the guy picks me to go first.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought in my head, like, these people don't know me, right? They don't know that I'm afraid. They have no idea. So I just went up there and just tried to breathe and talk. He goes, just tell us your name, tell us your life, what do you do? And I did all that. He's like, all right, great job. Next person. And I went and sat down. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe I didn't die. I can't believe nothing happened to me. And then from then on, it felt okay. And that's kind of, but people ask you, when did you start? So that was 2010. So this guy's stand-up class, what's the last class called?
Showcase.
The showcase was at Ridley's too.
Okay.
So I went and did that. Had a really fun time. Had a great set. That was a lot of fun. So then that guy would invite me back every 4, 5, 6 months to MC his next group of people.
Gotcha.
So for 3 years, my comedy was MCing at this guy's grad classes. That's all I did at Ridley. I never did an open mic, nothing. And then one day I said, I'm done with that. It's stupid. I'm done doing it. So I went like 3 or 4 years where I did nothing. And then for some reason I said I want to try it again, and I went to Joel's class. So I always consider that to be like my real starting point, which would have been around 2017, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's when I had never gone to an open mic before, where Joel took us all as a class to out to Milford, to that place.
Baker's?
No, the one Tom Swan runs now, where it's on the water.
Tiki Beach.
The Tiki Beach.
Yeah.
It was somebody else was running it back then, but that's where the place we went to, and so yeah, that's kind of when I started, and that's how it started.
I love a good comedy origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always, like, mine's so boring.
Yeah, but look, dude, I was 50. Started at 50, and I'm 62. So.
Yeah. Well, I know we've talked about it before, how Rodney Dangerfield, one of the best comedians of all time, in my opinion, he got a late start.
Yeah.
So
you're 46 or something like that, maybe. Yeah.
You were never too old.
No.
You were never too old. So. No. Now, I've actually never had the pleasure of seeing you perform before, which I will change that, by the way. No. So, like, what would you describe your style as?
Yeah, just do a tight 10.
Yeah.
Okay. My style, I just found out, because I'm not one of those people who watches a lot of comedy. I feel stupid when I'm around comedy buddies that talk about this guy and that. Finkel's one of them. Ron, have you seen? I'm like, no, Tim, I don't know who the guy is. He'd send me clips and all that stuff. But I'm just not that. But if I found out that because I watched some sets of this guy, I saw him on TikTok and I dove into his thing. Okay. I'm a lot like Nate Bargatze, I think. I try to be as deadpan as I can, and I never smile. I never try to break character, and I just do my stuff quietly and stay this kind of an idiot character. You know how he does it. The dumb husbandy, a little bit type guy. So that, I think it's kind of close to how.
More storyteller-y.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple jokes that just came from I don't know where, Normally, no, I don't tell jokes. I don't have, and even the couple jokes that I have, I still try to build the stuff around them. I don't do one line. I have one liner in my whole set, and I don't know why I don't add to it, because somebody just said the other day, why don't you put something on the front of that so it could be a bigger thing versus just a quick, because I don't do quick.
Well, then it wouldn't be a one-liner.
Yeah. I have one-liner, so. And it's always weird, like, I'm standing up there doing it's like thinking to myself, when should I put that in? It's like, maybe after this 5-minute one or before the next one, when do I put in a 12-second joke?
Right.
I really don't have,
Is that going to be that should be your bumper sticker?
Yeah.
Like, you should build your entire brand around that one joke and then just never do it.
Yeah.
That's
a good, like, a lot of people say to me, what are you going to put on a T-shirt and stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really have any. I don't have anything that I like.
Tank tops. We talked about tank tops. Yeah. Do a comedy tank top.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe wear it. That would get them laughing. All right.
Kara will come after you.
Kara does tank tops, right?
She does tank tops.
Yeah. Watch out, Kara. You got some competition coming in here.
She's got good ones with, like, pins, piping on them and stuff. And
and it says, did I shave my crotchy for this?
I wore one time.
Good.
One of those?
Good for you.
I've seen guys wear them at her shows.
Yeah.
Like, she takes pictures of guys wearing them.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's marketability.
Yeah. She's.
I did some couple nights with a lady at One Night Stands. Julie Scoggins was her name, and she comes walking in before the show with a hockey bag, and I'm like, geez, girl, did you not get a hotel or something? She's like, oh no, this is my merch. And I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, I usually do more in merch sales than in comedy every year. So like, and she's got quality, high-end cotton stuff, really nice stuff. And I'm like, man, and she flies around with this stuff.
Yeah. On a smaller scale, on a local level, Greg Sharp, who was in here a couple months ago, he is doing some stickers very easy to carry and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But he has consistently made more on his merch than he has for the weekends that he's been doing.
Wow.
For weekends and
If
stuff.
you've got something that's quick and easy
Yeah.
and fairly cheap, man, people will buy it on the
A
way
lot
out.
of people do those rubber
Yeah.
bracelets too. Yeah, actually, I have Greg Sharp's upstairs somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. If
I
only I
just
was.
don't know what I'd put on one. That's the thing. I mean, you got to have some sort of a nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very
Tag.
very similar to you in that I'm much more of a story
Yeah.
with a couple
Yeah, how do you put a
a
story
couple
in?
Yeah.
pictures in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I'm the same way. Like I'm not my jokes are not very marketable in
Yeah.
some sort of a
Mm-hmm.
shirt or like little trinket sense.
Yeah.
But we talked before a few episodes ago about like if comedians had their own action figures. Oh, I think
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which local comedian do you think would make the best action figure? Just off the top of your head.
Oh, man, let me think about that for a minute.
I'm
Action figure.
now I'm thinking of just the like I could see Steve Hansen's got like a law library behind
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and
He'd be good. I think. I just mentioned Tim Finkel, but he's very animated up on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
He might be a good, because he's built
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
too. He
yeah,
got a
like
good build on him, and yo-yo guy.
Yeah, and the
that-
bike,
he might be
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
bike,
the
yeah.
Bike sold
yo-yo.
separately, by the way. Yeah.
yes
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and I also feel like you could take it a stretch further and like because he's also tall and kind of lanky, like you could
Yeah.
make him like a
Or you
stretch
could make him
arm
stretch
kind
out.
Oh, yeah.
kind of thing.
That'd be a good one.
Or maybe go the hip hop side and get him like Tim, I know you're not watching, but hear me out. Flava Flav, right? But with the yo-yo. So get like
Oh.
a big
Big
chain
yo-yo
yet
on
with
your
a
neck. That
yo-yo.
would work.
Oh.
Oh
I
man.
might
Yeah.
do that. Fuck Tim.
Yeah. He's not watching, so yeah. Oh, it's
How about speaking of that? Have you guys done the hip prov yet?
Oh, not yet, but I've heard great things about it. We had Tam on. I think it
Oh.
was the episode before Greg, actually.
Definitely great, but
Oh, I did
it's
it.
it's difficult.
Did you do it? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I
trust me, you weren't the worst one on.
I was, and I will tell you. So I learned about myself that I have. I'm not good with car stuff, so like a governor, or a shutdown valve, or a whatever. That apparently improvised rap brings out in me. I was able to
Kill
do.
switch, maybe something.
That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for, kill switch. I was able to do like the 2-person scene
Yeah.
and like all of that playing. But when it came time to just be me there and they're
rap.
like create,
Yeah.
I went
Blank.
completely blank and not even in like a, oh, hey,
Yeah.
kind of tap
Yeah.
dance. I got
Yeah.
no words. Deer in headlights, like I had never been on a stage before. Poor Tam is like trying to toss me stuff like, I know you love Matthew McConaughey, like pretend that whatever words you say, he's going to come closer. And I was just like, I got nothing.
You're gone, man. It's like,
How, so I guarantee you were not the worst as long as you said
no,
words
man.
on the stage. How'd
the
it go
only
for
reason,
you?
And I told Tam this, the only reason I was funny is because I was so bad. Because when you're
Yeah.
that bad, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the way that I had to go because that's really all I had. I mean, I same way with you. I was okay with the banter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was okay. But when she went, go, my thing was, my topic was Vegas, you know? And even Mike Green was the judge then. Mike and Tam, okay, so Vegas round, you got gambling, you got hookers, you got shows, you got buffets, all these topics. Ready, music, go. And I'm like, Vegas. And same thing. Nothing would come to me. I'm like, they just rattled off 5 things I can use. Why aren't they coming into your head, you know? But
It's
it happens.
It's such a different thing because Tam, we were talking after, and she's like, "I didn't think that you were going to be afraid," and I was like, "It has nothing to do with fear, at least in my perspective." And she's like, "I've seen you do crowd work, and I've seen you, like come up with stuff on the fly." I'm like, "Yes, but there is something," and the way you said it, like when they say go,
Yeah.
that just changes
Yeah.
the game. It's no longer your game. You're not
Yeah.
the one that's controlling it.
You don't have anything else either.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing crowd work and it's not working out, just go to your set.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
With this thing, if it's not working, you can't start.
No.
"Oh, let me just rattle off some of my jokes that I've got.
Yeah,
right.
You can't do that.
So
You have nothing else.
when that happens on the way home, do you then think of stuff that you could have said? You're like, oh, now it's coming.
Fuck
Yeah.
yes, instantly. Like when I went and sat down, I'm like, you jerk. You know how much rhymes with poker, joker, smoke, all this stuff
Yes.
you could have done.
Yes.
I'm a poker, joker, smoker. It's all about rhyming.
Yep.
And I'm up there trying to rhyme a word with Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had CNA and I didn't
DNA?
CNA.
Oh.
And I didn't even know what a CNA was. I was
don't
like,
either.
I don't know. And she was like, oh, it's certified nursing something.
Assistant,
so,
maybe?
So they're like, just go with nursing.
Oh.
Go with nurse. And I'm like, nursing?
Yeah.
Nurse?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nurse?
Yeah.
Bedpans, shots, maybe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tough. But it is absolutely hilarious.
It's fun. Totally fun.
And did you have some good other performers?
Well, Melvin Bender was on when I was on, so
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard he's an all-star.
we could have just sat and said, Melvin,
Yes.
go.
Uh-huh.
You know, and that's
Yep.
all, you almost have to stop him. You know, the music stops, Melvin's still
Yeah.
fucking going. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, at least he entertained the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard Brett Solferino is also
Is he good?
really.
He
I've
is-
heard really
he
good
is
things about him.
really
Yeah.
good.
And he's got a better mustache than me as well.
Oh,
It's
maybe
close
this
though.
week just let yours
yeah.
go a little
Yeah,
while. That's all.
You're
Yeah.
getting close. You're getting close. So where do you have a place that you have not performed yet that you're dying to perform?
Not really. No, I'm sorry, but maybe I hear a lot about Dr. Grins in Grand Rapids. I
Yep.
would like to try that, but it's like that's a long way, and how would I? I think you got to have somebody maybe. But I always thought because I don't do really anything over in Grand Rapids, and I know comedy's huge over
Yes,
there.
yes, it is.
So I did Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase one time. Funny story. You guys ever been there?
Yep.
Did you meet Roger?
Yes.
I was just gonna say we
Yes.
always have to talk about Roger.
Yeah. Okay. So then I can talk about him. Is that all
Yep.
right?
He doesn't
yep.
watch.
So yeah, they're like, go down this hallway, down to here, around the corner. They were doing construction, around to here, around the back. And then I get down there, they're like, okay, yeah, Roger's at the end of the bar. So I walk down and he's standing there. I'm like, Roger, my name's Ron Rigby. And he goes like this.
It's a
And
damn
I'm
good
like-
Roger.
I'm like, hey, I'm just here for the open mic. And he's like, they're over there. And that was it, So, and then the night I was there was the day the grad students were coming back to school. So maybe
okay.
September or, right around there. So it was all like 21-year-old girls. And I'm up there talking about my dick or my prostate or something like that. And they're all looking at me like, fucking grandpa, get off
Yeah.
this, So that's a club that I wish I would have done better at, or wish I would have maybe used different material or just read the room a little better. I won't go near that place. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want
Yeah.
anything to do with the Ann Arbor. But it's a great place, and everybody said, you're fucking nuts. But I had that weird experience between Roger and then those girls. It was like, oh, not only that, the guy that was the MC, called me like Randy Railroad or something.
Randy
like that.
Railroad.
He was so fucking
Randy
off on my name.
Is that
Railroad.
because he only knew you from porn?
He was-
Is
Yeah.
that-
That's a great porn name.
He was like drunk. He fell off the stool. He sat on the stool and he went to lean back and totally fell off.
Oh my gosh.
Just before he introduces me, scrambling to get back up, and now it's Ryan Riley or something like that, and it was me, and I'm like,
I
yeah,
love Randy Railroad.
whatever
That is
it
such
was,
a
yeah.
porn name.
It was 2 hours. I know that.
Oh, that's great. That is fantastic.
God.
Oh, and you know who was there that night was I'm horrible with names, so I'm sorry, but the guy who's been on Letterman, local guy.
Brad Wenzel?
Yeah, Brad Wenzel, and Randy walks over, or Roger walks over and says, you guys got fucking 6 minutes, and I don't give a fuck if you've been on Leno, Conan, wherever the fuck you've been. Get off this fucking stage, or you don't come back.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, this guy
Yeah.
is a little Nazi,
No,
But
it-
everyone I talk to is Mike Green, Dave Landau. Roger's the nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
I'm like, it must have made a bad day. I don't know what it
no,
was.
it's It is at least, and I have yet to reach that part with Roger.
Maybe you got to get in. He's
But
gotta
from what everybody, because I've heard the same thing, that there is a gauntlet, a little bit that he puts you through.
You have to get by it.
And you have to get by it. And he is a stickler for that time.
Yeah.
You do not run the light. And I've seen him enforce it with people. And then once you've kind of done that, then he's got a formula set up for how many shows you host before you have a chance to do a whatever. And so it's like once you kind of get past all of that, then he'll text you and be like, yeah, I'm eating a sandwich. It's great.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
How's your dog or whatever.
Thanks, fucker.
You've got 6 minutes to finish the sandwich. Not a minute more.
Yeah. How about Detroit House of Comedies? Have you guys been down there or done anything down there? I haven't done that yet either.
Yeah. The first time I met Roger, the first time I met him, before I was a comic, Jimmy Pardo was playing there, and I went to have him sign something, and Roger was standing next to him, and I said something to Jimmy, like I gave him something small, and I was like, I didn't know if I should send it to you or give it to you, and Jimmy kind of grabs it, you know, and looks over at Roger, and he's like, see, she didn't want me to have to worry about checking this in my bag, huh?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's like, haha, see, that's funny, and Roger goes,
Yeah.
and I'm like, who is this creepy guy? And then when I started doing comedy, Jackie Cation was nice enough. I was down there, and she's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to Roger." So she takes me over, and she like squares up my shoulders, like right in front of him, and she's like, "Roger, Elena Gonzalez. She's a comic. Elena Gonzalez, Roger. He's the booker." And he just looks at me and he goes, "How come I never heard of you?" And I was like, "'Cause we're just meeting."
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, and then walks away. I'm like, okay.
We need to get Roger on here and just have him stare at the camera for an hour and just stare there, and it'll be dead silence.
He might be good on one of your game shows, like
Oh, that would be great.
Bad Judge or something.
Yeah, maybe he's
Just a thumbs down.
Yeah. Nothing for me.
He's the gong on the gong.
Yeah.
Gonger, yeah.
Just have him say gong. Yeah.
Have you traveled outside of Michigan to perform?
A little bit, like Chicago area, stuff like that. We did some shows, Ohio.
That's a nice little leeway. You said
That's the
we.
thing with me,
You
though,
said
man.
we.
I'm finding I don't like doing that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really like going too far.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like flying to Florida and doing a show.
Oh, yeah.
But the 5-hour drive stuff is not so much for me.
Yeah, it's better if you get like a hotel and good pay. That makes it more worth it, you know. Because I've gone to Chicago before, had a hotel, it was good pay, you know. Drove into Canada in the middle of nowhere a couple of years ago with Keith Lennart, West Lorne, Ontario. I'm like, I didn't even know that there was a, you know, like freaking.
Is that through Port Huron area?
No. We went right through the Detroit, Windsor area,
Oh, okay,
and then you
that way.
drive east for like 2 hours in the cornfields, which
Toward New York, probably.
yeah,
Up New York,
and just West Lorne, Ontario.
Yeah.
But it was a cool show, you know, like a little brewery show. The whole town came to watch us, and that's where I did my full 25 minutes. And Keith had gone into the bathroom like right when I started my closing joke.
No way.
And I'm like, oh, he's probably in there taking a piss. No, he's in there taking a shit.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, dude, like I don't have anything left to do. So then I was like, yeah, you know, thank you guys for coming out. It's, you know, it's been a great event. And I'm looking at the door and I'm like, he is in there just blowing it up.
Wow.
Now what do? I just have to kind of like, you know, my little improvised moment where I'm like, so maybe I'll try some new stuff. And, you know, I ended on a great joke. And now they're like, oh, he's lost. And then as soon as he came out, hey, okay, now it's time for your headliner. And then after, I'm like, why did you choose to take a shit? He's like, hey, man.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. He's like, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
That happened to me the first time I ever hosted at Ridley's. Andrew Norelli was the headliner, and you know how you stand behind the door when the feature was out there, and she was wrapping up. She was on 17, 18 minutes, right around there, doing 20. And Andrew comes walking out of the green room. I'm standing at the door, getting ready to go out there, and he goes, "Hey, Ron, I got to go to the bathroom. If you go out there and I'm not ready, just tell a couple jokes or something." And he walks right by, and I'm like, "What? I didn't save a lot of material to do more time, Let alone I'm not sure that's how it works here, I'm thinking, I was starting to freak out a little bit. I'm like, what? How am I even going to know if he's ready? Is he going to come out to me and go, "Hey, Ron, I'm out of the bathroom now." All this shit's going through my head. And I'm like, please, just take a leak and get back
Yeah.
here, you know? So sure enough, before I went out, he was coming back. I'm like, oh,
thank God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking because you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm out of stuff now,
Yeah.
and, you know.
I didn't want, like, Mark Ridley to go, what is he fucking doing time after the feature before
Yeah.
the headliner for, you know?
Right,
You know?
right.
Yeah, it's a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go, and
gotta go.
that trumps everything. Yeah.
So when you mentioned that you were traveling, you said us. So who are you traveling with? 'Cause we haven't talked about that yet.
I work with a couple guys, Bill Reno and Steve Hansen. We have like a lighten up comedy, you know, 3 goofballs. So Billy probably does the most work. He sets up shows all over. You know, he's really good at that. He'll just stop into places and he'll find venues like bars or restaurants that have back rooms, special back rooms.
Yep.
Because we don't want to do a show off to the side of the bar.
Absolutely.
Where they're watching TV and we're doing, so it's got to be a separate room. That's the criteria.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Whether it's upstairs, it doesn't matter where it is, downstairs, off to the side, but a closed room where the door's shut. So he finds those places. You know, he's just really good at it. He finds these places, and then he talks to them like, geez, Billy, what did they say? He goes, they said yes. I'm like, they said yes? He's like, yeah, Ron, everybody pretty much says yes because it's good for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it brings people in. And I always look at it like, man, you had to probably really sell them, didn't you? And he's like, no, I just asked them and they said yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
He's probably go.
Would you mind if we figured out how to bring 70 to 100 people into your
Right.
restaurant?
He's probably got a gun, and he's like,
And they're
listen,
all-
motherfucker.
Right, and they're all going to drink alcohol, and you know, and they're all like, yeah, we do that. And I'm like, wow. He sold them on it, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, he does most of that. Steve's gotten a couple rooms too, but I really just, like I told you earlier, I just show up to where they ask me
Gotcha.
to go, and, you know. But it's a lot of fun. We work out a deal usually where we get the ticket money, and then they get all the food or beverage or whatever it is they can sell all night long, and they're thrilled with that because hour and a half, 2 hours of people drinking, you know.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good money.
Exactly.
And not only that, it gets people in the place, and maybe they weren't coming before, and they can try some
Yeah.
food, come early
Yeah.
and eat, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been working out pretty good.
One thing I love to do at the shows I run is I always check for like good reviews after my comedy shows, and it's always cool to see, you know, like, oh hey, you know, never been here before,
Loved it.
great drinks, great beer. I'm like, yes, they didn't mention the comedy, but whatever, you know,
Yeah.
it's good for the brewery or the distillery.
That place
so.
we were just talking about called Malone's. It's in like Warren, I think, on Van Dyke, and it's small venue. I mean, they have a small side room, and maybe I don't know, 45, 50 people, something like that. But they pack it, so it's like they're bringing in extra chairs, and people are like, but man, in a tight room like that, when one person, it's just
Yeah.
It echoes.
versus a guy laughing over there, and then there's another couple over there. They're
Yep.
all jammed in,
Yeah.
man, and it's like just a great show. And people have left there saying, you know, I remember one guy said, he goes, Ron, I've seen Seinfeld, I've seen whatever. He goes, I didn't laugh as hard as I did tonight, just because it's live comedy,
Yep.
with, you know, and it's just a fun time, and it's just like there's nothing better than that when people, you know, just tell you how much fun they had.
Oh, it's
you
great,
know?
yeah.
Yep.
That's why I think why we do it.
Do you ever get the, oh, and by the way, you were funny too?
Oh,
yeah,
that's the worst, isn't it?
yeah.
Or like when you're standing behind someone and they're talking to Billy going, fuck, you were so great.
Yeah.
You know, that I didn't like that one guy's joke about the shredding thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going
yeah.
over this one.
Yep.
You know, but that happens too. What are you going to do?
Yeah, or it's like, oh, you are such a sweet man for
Yeah.
giving this guy a shot. Like, what the fuck? No, yeah. Yeah, those little, but you know what, though? I mean, like, as long as they're having a good time overall, that's all that matters.
They'll come up and like, they'll thank the other comic and
Yeah.
they'll turn and go, oh, you were good too.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly
You're
what it
fuck
like.
off,
Oh,
lady.
Yeah. And then you get a ride home with the person who did well, and you're like,
this.
okay, turn the radio
two
on.
2.5 hours. You're
Yeah.
like, God damn it.
So how about
happened.
those Riddle Wings, huh?
That happened to me at, damn it.
Oh, okay.
In Ohio, we
Oh, the
went down
whale.
to do
The copper whale?
Copper whale.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! I don't know what happened there, but you know, I usually don't suck too bad, but they, for some reason, hated me. And there was a group, pretty good group of people, like right in front, always in front, you know, front-ish table, like 8 people, and there's a dude there talking louder than I'm talking. You know? So like, Jimmy, did you happen to? And he can hear me, so he's trying to go over me. And finally, I had to be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You know? He's like, hey, I didn't know there was going to be a fucking comedy show here. And I'm like, so I kind of went. Then he got up and left, him and his wife or whatever. From that point on, it was like, they weren't having anything I was saying.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, that always sucks, you know.
I just go through, basically I'm reading my jokes, like, just to get my
Just
jokes
going through
out
the
there
motion,
and walk
yeah.
off, But they
Yeah.
like Billy. Billy went on after me. They seemed to like him.
Yeah, we had Billy on here. We had Billy on, gosh, it was back in the fall.
Did you?
I remember it was still to the point where we were able to grill. We grilled that day. Didn't we?
Wow.
Yeah, it was, which is becoming grilling season right now.
Do you grill? Do you move the stage out there,
We should.
or do you just grill and sit here and watch the food? How do you do it?
Oh, we just grill brats like beforehand.
Oh,
yeah,
beforehand? Gotcha.
But no, yeah, we've talked about doing like an
Like
outdoor.
grilling while you're doing the show. That'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
we have. We talked about getting comedians who have no idea how to cook
Oh.
and having them try and grill.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Like an elaborate dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be good too.
Yeah. So you're a fan of food, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you a fan of food, Elena?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did you want to try some of these?
Oh yeah.
Did you want to try
yeah.
some of these snacks here?
do you
So
have?
So we will we'll be expeditious. Is that a word?
That
We'll
looks
be
hot.
we'll be quick.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking a little bit. We've talked about Buc-ee's in the
Mm.
past because you are their spokesman.
Yes.
But for Ron's sake, will you please, because he didn't know before we started, and we said we were going to save it for the show.
Right.
What is Buc-ee's?
So Buc-ee's is a gas station that is mainly in the southern parts of the United States, but it's much more than a gas station. They have like 300 pumps, but they also have an inside store where you can buy clothes and apparel. They have a smorgasbord of snacks. They have a bakery. They make their own fudge. They make their own barbecue. It is amazing.
And they are voted regularly as like best bathrooms.
spotless.
Wow.
Spotless. I swear. It's like, it is amazing. If you're ever near one, you need to go. I know the nearest one to here is in Richmond, Kentucky, but I've been traveling to Knoxville for work quite a bit, and I always hit up Buc-ee's on the way there, and I hit it up on the way
Do you
back.
have stuff that you can only get there that you like or something? Or
They don't have an online store. Only there.
But I mean, like,
but
do
yes.
they sell stuff that maybe another gas station doesn't sell? Type
Exactly.
of thing.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
That is strictly Buc-ee's that
Yes.
you like.
Like these,
Yeah.
the beaver nuggets.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes.
So Justin was kind enough to reach out to a couple of us and say, "Hey, I'm going to Buc-ee's. What do you want?" And so, like a good researcher, I went online and said, I think I pulled up like the top 20 Buc-ee's snacks. And so I've never had these, but we have the Buc-ee's Beaver Nuggets, sea salted caramel. And Justin was raving
They
about
are
these,
delicious.
so I will let you.
I will take one. Yes.
So are they like a popcorn thing?
It's sort of like corn pops.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they remind me of.
Wow. Yeah, I could eat these while I was driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's more caramel, more crunchy than I was expecting. Do you want to try one?
It's like a cheese puff without
Yeah.
cheese, but caramel around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
that's
I love these so much.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
That's
those are great.
the other thing, and I'm not very cultured, so I don't. This is chamoy, I think, peach rings. I don't even know what that flavor is.
Mario, you're a chamoy guy. What is chamoy? You
That
can.
sounds like a slur. I'm not gonna lie. You can't just call
Yeah.
out and call
Yeah.
him a chamoy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very offended.
Yeah.
Is it like tagine? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of tahin and
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's a mix of. I'm sorry. What?
tahin and like sweetness.
Okay, so I've always pronounced it tagine because I'm a white asshole.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Tagine.
What did you said? Tahin?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I call it. That's what I've always called it.
Okay, which is that?
Do you say
that
gyro too?
Yeah. Gyro. Yeah.
It's made from pickled fruit.
oh, this is
boy.
this is
You
gonna
just
be
said
tough.
The wrong word. you
I know. I'm like, oh.
No, these are good.
Okay, this
I don't
is
even
what
know
I
it, but I
love.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
boy.
pickles. Okay.
No, these are good.
Uh-oh.
These are good. The flavor is incredible.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't smell it, but bite it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's very good.
Oh,
It's
It's
a,
a- yeah,
gummy.
it's like that's a roller coaster.
It's a sweet, spicy, fucking donut gummy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it is good. Yeah,
Yeah,
It
try that,
starts.
Carol.
It starts
It's
very
almost hard to
sweet.
explain.
yeah.
It
But they
starts
are
very
addictive,
sweet,
yeah.
and then the spice comes in on the backside.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I can taste a pickling too in here a little bit.
Like a little of the vinegar.
Yeah.
Give him one.
Mario, you want
You want
to?
one?
Try one.
Yeah.
Come on, chamoy guy.
Yeah.
Call me Chamoy Boy.
yeah.
Down south.
Yeah. Chamoy boy.
Oh, look at that. I got two of them almost.
It gets better as you go. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got spice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. This
Yeah.
is a for sure win. I
That's
feel
a,
like. Ooh. That
Those are
was
flavors that I would never think to put together.
Oh, but they work so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So I've seen this is really interesting to me. So I've seen I'm sorry, will you say it one more time? Tahin. I've seen people put like sprinkle that on melon and mango. Kind of the same vibe as
Same,
this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely try that out then.
Mango is
Because
the main one.
mango's
I
the
can
main
taste a
one.
little mango in that. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I'm not gonna say like I didn't not like it.
No, it's just a
but-
straight up caramel.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, they're so good though. I mean, I love snacks. Period. Yeah. But yeah, they have so many like varieties of snacks there, and the in-house bakery, peach
Oh.
muffins, pecan cinnamon rolls, the barbecue brisket
It
sandwiches.
sounds like Sam's Club with a gas station or something.
Yeah,
right?
Basically, and again, like it's
geez.
all made in house, and
Wow.
like you go there, it's always packed, but they get you in and out. They're very polite,
Wow.
and yeah.
Does
I wonder
it
why they're not everywhere. Why do they stop?
You know, I have no idea.
does it
They don't
does
think
it
we like that kind of stuff up here.
They better not think that, because we
Yeah,
love it up
just-
here.
We just ate it.
does it feel too desperate like we're trying for a sponsorship? Is that what that felt
Yeah.
Or
like?
franchise, maybe.
First it'll be Jenny's ice cream, then it'll be Bucky's, and then
Yeah.
before you know it, we're taking over the world.
Then I'll be on my 600-pound life, and I can't
Yes,
wait.
yes.
Yeah. I'm not seeing a lot of health foods at Buc-ee's.
No, never.
Dr. No was that.
Oh, I love Dr. No. That man is so brutal. I love Dr. No so much.
Who was that?
So he's the guy on my 600-pound life, and he is just the most brutally honest. Where he's like,
really?
"You're not starving. Your body has food reserved for 3
Yeah,
months.
yes.
Yeah.
Why are there food wrappers in your bed? Who is feeding you?" And like he will tell them to their face, "You are not getting surgery. How do you gain weight?" He is, man.
When I started the fasting diet a few years ago, I read about it, and I read about a guy that went like 378 days without eating.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you're big enough, your body will
Yep.
eat
Yeah.
itself for a long, long time. And I'm big enough. Like you don't have to be huge to.
Yeah.
You're basically like your body is your refrigerator, and then you have a garage fridge.
Yep.
And you just keep eating out of the garage fridge and never, or either fridge, but you never drain them both because
Yeah.
one's always full. And so unless you starve the one fridge and make yourself eat out of this fridge, you're
Yeah.
never going to lose anything.
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like Jay Leno. You never spend your Tonight Show money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I just saw that video on him where they were going to fire everybody. Did you see that? You know, and he's like, well, I'm making 30 million. So what if I made 15? Well,
Yeah.
we could keep everybody. He's like, then let's do that. You know,
Yeah.
I can live on that. You know,
Yep.
he goes, now there are people buying homes and they're
Yeah.
doing this all on my 15 million, basically. It's
Yep.
amazing what you can do with $15 million.
Yeah.
You know, and your 4 staff members that were going to get fired. You
Yes,
know,
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah.
What do you-
Oh, go ahead. No.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah.
Very professional.
Thumb Russell.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say this has been a lot of fun.
Thanks
a lot
for
of fun,
having me.
Ron. Yeah, I
Appreciate
mean,
it.
I'm glad you were able to come here. Give your palate some new flavors to try. Hear about your comedy
My
origin
mouth
story.
is dancing right now. from
Yes.
that
Yeah, it is quite.
ring.
Yeah, it was. They are quite
were good.
delicious. Yes, and you were a very delicious guest, by the way. That was.
Oh, that was.
Oh, thanks.
Do you guys
That was a lot of fun.
need a room?
Yeah, yeah.
It just
Yeah,
took a
good call,
turn.
that's-
Exactly. Yeah. But no, yeah. This has been.
What do you got coming up?
Nah, I heard you ask Mike that. Nah, nothing really. Nothing worth mentioning.
Okay.
You know? It's like, yeah,
Alright.
no, I don't really promote my shows too much. Like, I just finished One Night Stand, so I would have mentioned that.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
I was
yeah.
there this weekend, so what have I got?
Yeah. How
Unless
was?
this is going to be taped, no, that wouldn't work, would it?
Yeah,
so
no, we'd
Yeah.
be going back in time.
There's
So
nothing
yeah,
I could do.
go
If you could do
see
that would be
go
great.
see Ron
If
Rigby
we could
with
do this,
Mary
like,
Mack.
Wednesday from last week, I could bring that up.
Yep.
No, but Mary Mack was a lot of fun. She's
great.
really good. And then Amanda Filan was on. She was great.
That's good.
She's got a great joke about your husband naming your vagina, after a car. Like, what
Yeah.
type of car would
Yes.
your vagina be? And the whole weekend I'm thinking about that. Like, what would my wife be, And I kept telling him, man, I'm going to probably use something off of that, and I never did until the final set last night. And I'm like, my wife would probably be like a Subaru Forester because she's from like the 70s, you know what I mean? They had huge bushes back then,
Oh,
I knew
God.
that's
And I
where
was
you're
like, it's better than the Outback.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Cheap. That's such a cheap joke.
I would just say I don't have a
is.
car. So,
I think her punchline is my husband said I'm an Uber. Something
No,
like that. 'cause
yeah.
so many people are coming in and out of it or something like that. I don't know. That's a pretty good joke, though.
oh, man.
But yeah, as far as stuff coming up, nah.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, go
we
see.
do shows that I don't even
Yeah.
know where they're at. I just look at my phone and go.
The plan is to get him some bookings before this airs.
Yeah. that'd
So
be
go
good.
see Ron Rigby
Yeah,
at Generic
look for me
Bar
on,
Comedy Club.
My website that I haven't created
Yeah.
yet. Maybe Daryl can help me with that.
Yeah,
later.
check out the Lighten Up Comedy Tour.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? What do you have coming up comedy-wise? When's your show again?
May 19th.
May 19th.
Yep, Ron will probably be there in the audience.
Yeah,
He
I
just
can
doesn't
come.
know it yet.
Yeah.
May 19th at One Night Stands. Tickets are on sale now. One Night Stands, comedyclub.com. You can check out my shows on the interwebs at Gonzaleza, GONZALEEZA. And actually listen to me on 93.1 New Country. I realized
there you
I
go.
didn't say that last time. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very cool. Well, I've got my monthly show at Bearded Lamb Brewing Company in Plymouth, Michigan, a monthly show at Rusted Crow Distillery in Dearborn Heights, hopefully soon to be the Rusted Crow in Belleville. I am also working on another spot in Dearborn and possibly doing a series of shows in the Upper Peninsula. So fingers crossed, arms crossed that all works out and then I will be busy as hell.
Jeez.
But I will love it.
And you'll be
Busy
booking
guy.
Ron Rigby.
I will be booking Ron Rigby.
Busy
Yep.
guy, man.
Busy
Anytime.
guy.
Anytime.
So yes, hopefully that all works out. You got to come to one of them. If I get 5 or 6 rooms,
Yep.
man, if you don't come to any of them, I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has the tools.
There we go.
Yes,
Special
yeah,
set of skills.
exactly. Yeah, and then we'll have 20 subscribers and not 21 because I will have killed somebody. So yes, please subscribe, like the video, comment, do whatever you gotta do. Keep supporting us, greatly appreciate it. With that being said, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye.